Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here, and I'm your chef on a mission. Today's mission is champagne. Champagne is, people love champagne. People love to love champagne. It has a great story. It has an allure. France, the cave tunnels that go underneath Rance and Epernay, the limestone, the big brands like Pierre Juillet, Tottinger, Moet Chandon, Dom Perignon. These all flood the market. What people don't understand is that a lot of these champagne labels that you go see in the store, they're the label that you see, the Moet Chandon, they're not the people that are making the champagne. They're the people that are buying in and blending. They don't grow the grapes. They're just like the blenders, and sometimes they vinify. It's like a mixed bag. It's like the big brands of cognac. They're not distillers. They're just blenders. They buy in other people's products and blend them together. There's been a major movement in the last couple years for grower champagnes. Now, Champagne has about 80,000 acres of vines planted. They have, let's see if I can remember this correctly, 80,000 acres. There's 4,000 different brands. There's almost 70,000 growers. So a lot of the growers are on an acre plus, less than 2 acres of land, and they're growing grapes. And they're not the makers of the champagne. They just ship their grapes off to a maker, to a blender, or whatever, and they don't really see what their final product is. Now, grower champagne is somebody who takes the grapes that they grow and they make champagne from that and then put their family label on it and send it to market. Now, there's over 4,000 labels of champagne. The average person could probably name off, even the average sommelier at a restaurant owner probably knows about 5 or 6 brands, right? That's probably about it, because those big brands dominate the market. And of course, at Romatime, we're anti-big brands. So we're going to do a little interview with somebody from A.R. Lenoble, which we just met at a great wine tasting in New York City. 12 employees total. They are a grower champagne. We currently don't have their champagne, but we're going to buy their champagne. Everything we tasted was magnificent, from the entry level to the vintage. And let's roll into that tape now. Jamie's going to take over from here.
Hi everybody, how are you? We are at the Lauber tasting in New York City. If you look around a little bit, you can see lots of wines and spirits. There's lots of people. It just opened, and the first table that we are actually going to is A.R. Lenoble. It's a champagne producer, very small, independent, family-owned. What do you say? There's maybe 12 people in your company?
Exactly
12 people in your company, and we're going to hand this off to you so that we can talk a little bit to you.
Cool.
Tell us a little bit.
Sure. So I'm Christian. I'm with A.R. Lenoble in Champagne. We're a completely family-owned, completely independent champagne producer. We're making wines from our own 18 hectares that are all certified haute environnementale, so completely sustainable viticulture. We've got 12 guys in the vineyard, 12 in the cellars. We're completely independent, and we're very proud to be the smallest champagne producer at Lauber as well, which is really cool for us.
Excellent. All right, so what are we going to taste first?
So the first thing I think that we should taste is our Brut Intense. So the Brut Intense, this is base wines from 2013.
First one.
And you've got 40% reserve wines from a Solera that we started in 2002. So we keep very, very large stocks of reserve wines going back, which gives us all that richness and intensity. We call this wine Brut Intense because we want to have a non-vintage champagne that actually has intensity and character to it.
Wonderful, delicious.
The next one we have is our Zero Dosage. The idea with this wine is to have a Zero Dosage Brut Nature that actually has texture and richness. So this is based from 2012, and this is aged in the cellars for 5 years before it's released. Yeah. The legal minimum for non-vintage champagne is 15 months, so it's like a little over a year, and this sits for 5 years. And so the idea is to have a Zero Dosage that actually has richness and texture to it. The next one is quite cool. This is our rosé. It's a rosé that is 90% Chardonnay, which is quite rare. Of the 18 hectares we own, 10 are in the Grand Cru village of Chouilly, which is all planted with Chardonnay. So we want to be faithful to where our villages are. So it's like a Blanc de Blanc rosé. This as well sits in the cellar for 5 years before it's released.
All right, we want to come visit.
Definitely.
We want to come visit, yeah.
We're located in Damerly, just about 5 minutes away from Epernay, so super easy to get to from Paris as well. This is our Grand Cru Blanc de Blanc Vintage 2008. This is the second vintage we've released this century. The first was 2002. And for us, we don't release a lot of vintages. We hold on to the vintage quality wine to blend into the wines you just tasted. So for us, we release maybe 1 to 2 vintages a decade. This is 2008, which was the most perfectly classic vintage since 2002. All Chardonnay, all Grand Cru. It's great today. It'll be awesome in like 15 or 20 years.
Yeah. And how long have you been?
What's the history of the wine?
So Air Lenoble was founded in 1920 by Armand Raphael, so A.R. Grazer. And today it's owned by his great-grandchildren, Anne and Antoine. It went from father to son to grandson to great-granddaughter. And then her younger brother Antoine joined 3 years later. So they've looked after the estate now since 93. Antoine's first vintage was 1996.
Beautiful. Anything else?
Come visit us.
Come visit. Yeah. Excellent. So he just offered for us to come visit. And knowing us, we might take him up on that offer.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.